Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another Indie Game Friday. This week we take a look at Zenith, an action RPG with console stylings and a focus on humor. Developed by Infinigon and published by Badland Games, it was released on Steam on September 20th, 2016, and is available on Steam and GOG.com for $14.99 US. The game starts with very little preamble. You play the part of Argus Windell, archaeologist in service to the Empire. Captured by elves of the Homogeny, you begin by escaping through a stroke of sheer luck and continue onward to finish the mission which unfolds before you. The first area serves as an introduction to the control scheme and combat of the game, and to set up the scene for the rest of the game. Shortly after uncovering a ruin, defeating a demon, and retrieving an ancient artifact, the story jumps 7 years ahead. Still playing Argus Windell, you discover that in those few years' time, everything went wrong, and our former adventuring mage has retired to a quiet life in a little village, trying to put his past behind him. The rest of the game focuses on just how that will not be. Zenith owes much of its gameplay, control scheme, and humor to console games, and though it allows for keyboard controls, it really plays much better with a controller. Actual gameplay is very much focused on two parts, exploration and combat. Exploration should be familiar to those who have played any console RPG of the past few decades. You maneuver your character around and interact with objects, either to uncover lore or clues, discover treasures, or solve puzzles, usually all with the interaction button. There's the occasional crate or barrel that you can lift up, or move around, or smash with various combat moves, and rarely they may drop things you can pick up. Combat is done seamlessly within the exploration maps. There's a basic melee move that depends on what weapon you have equipped. There's a ranged attack that also varies depending on what spell gem you select, and there are scrolls that can be used to produce larger, slower effects. There's also a roll-dodge button that can be used to evade attacks. During combat, setting up chains of attacks and combos is possible, allowing for a much more damaging finishing move at the end of a chain. One thing to note is that you don't automatically loot the bodies that drop, and they fade relatively swiftly, so you'd better be prepared to hit the interact button as you kill things to loot the smattering of gold and other items they may drop. Various potions can be assigned to the directional pad, allowing for quick consumption during combat. Further, the inventory screen allows various armor and items to be assigned, which can boost various abilities, from particular affinities with the various elements to bonuses to your resistances. Affinity with an element boosts the damage that you do with that element's attacks, while resistances decrease damage you take from the element's attacks. Pretty straightforward all in all. Graphically, the game is pretty solid. While the indie nature means that it's perhaps not the most extravagant in setup, the art style wouldn't be out of place in a console game of the last generation or so. It's definitely reminiscent of some of the high fantasy games that you've seen in that era. The sound design is also nice, with a variety of music tracks that are appropriate to each area. I'm not sure if some of them are custom composed, but I could have sworn that I've heard a few of the other ones before in other places. Regardless, they are well selected wherever they were selected from. Where the game really shines, however, is the humor and the subversion of various fantasy tropes. From the very outset, this is evident. It ranges from the ridiculous singing spiders at the beginning to a horrible death snowman to various takeoffs of Final Fantasy main characters. Maybe I'm easily amused, but I'll admit to laughing out loud several times during even the short amount I played to get the footage for this review. Indeed, I had to make a hard decision at the hour and a half mark to cut my playtime short, because I actually kind of want to do a proper Let's Play of this sometime, and with the focus on the game being so much on the humor aspect, I'd like my reactions to be genuine first-time exposure. From what I understand, however, the game is relatively long and the story fairly engrossing. I'm inclined to agree with the latter from what I've seen thus far. It's not all roses, however. There are still some bugs that need to be worked out, and some system configurations may have difficulty running the game. The frame rate can occasionally drop for no reason, and there's some minor stuttering on my system, which admittedly is not the greatest system to try to run any modern game on. This apparently varies from person to person, though, and a large number of people seem to have no problem with it at all, or very minimal problems, if that. I'm going to lump this one into the if you find a humorous game a decent draw, then pick it up group. The gameplay's not great, but it's not terrible, It's a fairly straightforward console RPG style game of story progression and linear fights, but some might find the story and the interactions throughout it downright hilarious, and that may be enough to make up for the rest. Also, there's nothing wrong with your basic hack-and-slash action RPG from time to time anyway. And I think I'll leave it at that. For now, this has been the RPG Crawler. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you've got feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Also remember that I've launched a Patreon page, so if you want to help support more quality videos, be sure to check it out. I'll put links in the description and at the end of this video. Until next time, take care and goodbye.